Awesome.
So we were just, just to give a little background on auditions that we've gone out on, and we were, we wish we got the job, or you're close to getting the job. And, as an actor, when you're in the process of auditioning and you finally get to this phase in the auditioning process where you're being considered for the role and it's between you and maybe one or two other people, that's the exciting stage to be at as an actor.
And so nerve-wracking.
But it's also exciting because, you know what you're doing is what they're looking for.
Right.
And now it's just about small things that sometimes out of your control most of the time.
Yeah.
So one of the things that was out of my control, and it was a small thing, was me auditioning for this movie Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell.
Uh-huh.
And so I went through the auditioning process, and it was great. First round, I think second round. And finally, I'm here at the third round of the audition, and this is when you feel like you're going to get it. Usually, the second or third audition is the last. And so my agent calls me and says they loved you, Cirroc. They really want you, but they're waiting to hear back from a rapper, right? And the rapper at the time was Andre 3000.
Oh, okay.
Who I'm a fan of his music, sure. And I like him in the group Outkast.
Oh my God, I'm gonna interrupt you. This is like the best idea for a script right now. Like,
yeah.
You get that call, I go, okay, yeah, that's great. I'll wait. Hang up, dude. We gotta find him, and we gotta hold him down.
Break his leg.
We gotta get him. Yeah. Almost like a movie like Bowfinger. Remember Bowfinger? Yeah. How they had to go through all the hoops to make a movie. Or
a Get Shorty. It's like one of those type of movies.
Yeah.
But yeah. So they said to me, yeah, they really like you. They want you, but they're holding out for Andre 3000, and they're seeing if he's gonna do it. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, there's no way they're going to pick Andre 3000. He's a rapper, right. And he's never done a movie before, right? He's never acted before. So I'm like, I'm going up against a guy who's not even an actor, who's never acted before. So
was he big at this time?
He was big as a music
this time. Okay.
Yeah. So he was already famous in Outkast, and they had already sold millions of records, but he had never done acting.
Now I remember who. Okay.
And so I'm thinking, and this was a period in time in Hollywood and show business where they were, especially for black roles, they thought that going with a rapper was like a better option because of the fan base and the numbers. That's when they started inventing this number crunch system, where the studios would put in some type of formula to find out, how well the box office will do with X, Y, or Z in that particular role.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a time in Hollywood where they felt like rappers were just as good as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I fell victim to that in that particular movie. And I remember watching Semi-Pro and saying to myself, he did a good job in the movie, so I thought he was good. But
you would have been better.
No, I would have had the opportunity to work with Will Ferrell on Semi-Pro, and it would have been great for that
would have been awesome.
My resume. So that's one audition that I can remember standing out as one that I wish I had gotten.
Yeah.
And I was close to getting. There's actually a couple others that were like that. Not where I lost to a rapper, but where where I didn't get the job in the very end.
So this little conversation was inspired because the guys were talking about Sling Blade, and Ryan was expressing how much he loved the script. One of the best
script ever, because he says, "I like them French fried potatoes."
Mm-hmm. That was a little creepy. So for all you listeners, that'll be interesting just to hear that audio from Ryan. You should do it again one more time, Ryan.
I like them French fried potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We just need that soundbite. We just need that soundbite. And then I told the guys, I was saying, well, I came this close to working with Billy Bob Thornton on Bad Santa. And Mary Vernew was the casting director. And I always thought I would hear back from her, you know, in the future for other auditions, and I never did. So maybe I didn't do as good as I thought I did. But I went to the audition. I had 3 scenes, and they were so much fun because the character I went out for was his little right-hand elf, if you will, the little guy. And obviously, I'm a little guy, and I went out for this audition, and it was so much fun because he's like cussing. He's like this bad attitude little guy, and against Billy Bob Thornton's bad attitude, it was a lot of fun. And I was thinking, oh my God, this would be so fun to do. So I do all 3 scenes in front of the director, and then he just kind of sits there. He puts his hand on his face. He's thinking. And I'm sitting there, you know, it's kind of awkward, and Mary Vernew kind of gives me that smile, like little hand fist, like good job. So I felt confident about the scenes, and he's scratching his head, and he's taking his time, and he's all just thinking, and he looks at me and he goes, but you're not a little person. I don't know if that's going to be funny. And he's like really thinking about, is this going to be funny? Now, in my head, I'm going, yeah, it's going to be funny because I'm funny. This is going to be great. But I couldn't say that. You got to be like, you know, I don't know. Yeah, you know, you just got to kind of listen. And I think we do the scene again. He goes, wonderful job, shakes my hand. I leave going, oh, that went great. But I guess he ultimately felt I wasn't short enough to be funny enough. I guess I had to be smaller to be more funny or be funnier. So I missed that one. And I was like, it would have been so great. So, and he was great. The actor that got it was hysterical. He did a great job. No slight on him. But man, I would have been working with Billy Bob Thornton almost as awesome as working with Cirroc Lofton. Almost. Yeah.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate that.
You know, I've had that experience too through my many auditions, and it's happened so many times where they're just like, you know, you'd be like, and it's just there's that one little thing they want. They're like, I just wish you could act, you know? And I'm like, but I'm taking classes, and they're like, we can't wait to see evidence of this. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, no,
it's a long process.
Well, do you have one, Ryan? Do you have a story like that?
Honestly, no. There have been too many times where I thought I was really close to something really good, but I just didn't quite get it. And then there are other times where I was like, I don't know if I really did that great, but they're just like, okay, that's the guy. I'm like, really? So you just never know. I mean, in my experience, you just never know. Because I've been on the other side of that a lot of times as a writer and as a director, as a producer. On the casting side, it's true. They don't know. And it's helped me with my auditions to be on the other side of that table and to realize it's nothing personal. If you don't get the role, it doesn't mean you're not a good actor. It doesn't even mean you didn't do the best job out of everybody. It's just that they're looking for something specific, and sometimes they don't even know what that is. Otherwise, they'd specifically ask for that. So I've learned that, like, just go out there and do the audition for yourself. Do what you think is the best version of that character that you read. You know, like, you picture that character in your mind. I don't try to like please them or do what I think they want, because chances are they don't even really know what they want yet until they see it. So I go out there and I just do the best for what I think the character would be, or what I would enjoy watching, or what I would enjoy playing, and let the cards fall where they may, you know. And that tends to keep me the sanest, and it also gives the best final product too. Because if you're doing what you think they want to see, then you're not really giving what you could give, you know, as far as your honest character, you know.
Have you guys ever had an audition where you almost knew going through it, this isn't me, can't do it, it's not going to work? And I had one, it was for the Playboy channel. No, actually, that's not true. actually, there is a little truth to that. I actually walked out. That was the only audition I walked out of. it was for the Playboy Channel. I go, no, that's not the career I'm looking for. But it was.
At that time, they told you were too big.
No. It's actually kind of creepy. If you want to hear about that one, I got two, and then I'll leave my auditions alone at least for another day because I got lots of good stories. But here's the two I was going to bring up. So I went into the joke of the Playboy Channel. I actually did. When I was 18, remember I looked 11, right? And I went to an audition for the Playboy Channel. And the role was a young boy who was fantasizing. So he had like a Barbie doll in his hand, and he starts fantasizing, and then they go into his fantasy, which is the Playboy part of the show, right? And I was like, yeah, no, that's okay. Not my thing. I want to work, but I'm not going to do that. That was the only audition I remember of leaving, going, no, thank you, but I appreciate the call.
I had a couple Penthouse auditions too.
Did you really? No,
Vivid. It was Vivid.
Oh yeah!
Wow!
Big time.
We got to save that one.
I see you in a whole different light now.
I know, right?
You know you were Vivid material, bro.
Ryan Husky.
Yeah.
All right. That's Ryan why you call yourself the Incredible Husk. Yeah. So the other one was Dungeons and Dragons, the movie. And I went out for the dwarf character, which is like very much like the Gimli, right? These big guys, stocky, like almost like rugby players, right? That's how I picture them. These guys that are just going to barrel through walls. And I felt like, I know I'm small, but these guys are big. I don't have that, like, I felt like I didn't have that weight. Does that make sense? Like I didn't have.
Yes, you're not very fat.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily fat. It's
just bulky.
They're stocky. Yeah. They're built like fire hydrants. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just felt like this isn't right for me. It's almost like the antithesis of a Ferengi, right? And I remember just not finding that groove and fitting into that. And you know who did get it was Lee Ehrenberg. Lee Ehrenberg got it. Who
so they did hire an Aaron.
Yeah, they did. They really wanted an Aaron. But Lee Ehrenberg ended up playing a Ferengi on Star Trek, which is
cool.
But he was a bigger, bulkier Ferengi, rather than a young, lithe, well cut, sexy Ferengi.
Earlier, Aaron, you were asking me about that photo. We were talking about that photo behind Ryan.
Oh yeah,
we could talk about that during the show, though.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. This was our audition. Talking about a few of our auditions. Yeah. I'm sorry, Cirroc, you were saying something?
No, I've had a lot of auditions. There was a movie that I read the script on, and it was called Paid in Full, and it's like it's a really good hip hop movie. It's about inner city, drugs, but it's like I thought it was the story of Jay-Z's life before he became a rapper.
Jay-Z of Nazareth, right?
No, not of Nazareth. Of Marcy. But so I thought it was Jay-Z's life story, and I still think it's Jay-Z's life story, but that's a whole other story. But it was it was just like a great script, and the main character was a guy named Ace. And I read this script, and I was like, I want to play this guy Ace. And I went far in the auditioning, but they didn't give it to me. They gave it to another guy.
Andre 3000?
No, they gave they gave the role to a guy named Wood Harris, who was starring on The Wire. With Idris Elba. So he's the main guy on The Wire. But anyways, Wood, when the movie came out, I was anxious to see it. There's a half of me that didn't want to see it because I wasn't in it. It's a mixed emotion type thing. Half of me didn't want to see it because they didn't pick me for the role. But then half of me wanted to see how the guy they did pick would do the movie. Mm-hmm. And so eventually that second half, the latter one, won me over, and I decided to go check it out and see the movie.
Yeah.
And
And which half of you wanted to be in the Playboy audition, Aaron?
No half. I truly did not want to be in the Playboy audition. But what did you think of the?
Well, I thought he did an amazing job, and I thought he was perfect for the role.
Yeah.
And that movie now is like a hip hop classic movie.
Nice.
You know, it's literally one of the best hip hop street movies that's ever been done, and so it's in the category of its own version of Goodfellas and Godfather and those kinds of movies, at least for the Black community.
What's it called again?
It's called Paid in Full.
Oh.
And it's
I think
it's just about, you know, Wood's character, the character Ace, you know, being just a square stand-up kid growing up in this neighborhood, and then drugs kind of being thrown on him. He just finds a stash of drugs, and it forces him to be a drug dealer. And then he meets all type of connections through that. But it's a great movie. It talks about what you have to lose and then just the people you then get caught up with when you're in that kind of environment. So it was really good. But I'm actually happy that I didn't get that job, because I feel like Wood did it justice so well that I don't even think I could have done it better. So sometimes, you know, it works out for the best when you don't get a role, you know?
Right.
So, and then the thing that is meant for you is, you know, is waiting down the line somewhere if you can be patient and find the patience and trust yourself and your instincts and your talent level. So,
and here we are.